What's up, everyone? Welcome. Today we're gonna make a video on Turo. Turo. If you haven't heard what Turo is this car rental website. It's pretty much like an Airbnb but for cars. You list your car, you rent it on the platform. I'm gonna go about it based on a renter's perspective. I'm not a renter, but I'm gonna show you how if I were to get into the rental business, how I would approach buying a car, or just necessarily how much I would price my car and know how much is gonna be how much profit I will get from renting out the car each day. So here's the website. You enter city, the time range you needed the car. You search, a bunch of cars will pop up with different prices. You can filter out the cars and stuff you want in your local area. So these are some examples of cars that are available that you can book. So to see if it's worth it, what I did, I ended up just picking some random car that I think would probably be good for people who want to rent a car. My target would be somebody who wants to save money on gas and just needs a car to get around. So my choice was a Honda Odyssey, which is this car right here. A Honda Odyssey gets 55 miles per gallon. This person is charging $55 a day, and he put 48 miles per gallon. You know, he's reasonable. So these are the requirements for you to post a car on Turo. Here they are. No, not here. Here, vehicles they accept. So these are some details, but the ones that we are gonna pay attention to is here in the United States. The car has to be 12 years old or newer, so nothing past that. There's some exceptions, but we're gonna go with current cars. Um, you're gonna have to have some type of insurance. I haven't checked that out, uh, and I haven't read these things, but I'm just gonna go based on this. Do not take this as advice, whatever I'm saying. Just take it as face value. To my opinion, the car has to have a fair market value up to 150,000. No, no, ignore that part because I guess anything below that is okay. I have fewer than 130,000 miles. So here's the part where I was kind of confused. You can have a car that's 129,000 miles, register it, and then you could wear the car out until it's like until it finishes, 300,000 miles, whatever. So as long as you register before it hits 130,000 miles. Clean, uh, it has to be have a clean record. Um, let's see what else and other other small stuff. So I'll go with the Honda Odyssey. So here we have Turo. This is a case study on just mere assumption. Honda Insight, potential miles that car could probably get throughout its entire lifetime. And let's assume you get 16,000 miles a year for putting it on Turo. Let's assume right now we're gonna get the car for 25,000. We get a 5-year loan at 3% APR. So the total cost of car is 26,953. So that's your total cost. Monthly payments 450, personal car insurance. So you have to get personal car insurance, and then also Turo provides you with insurance as by taking a cut of what you charge. So that's how they pretty much will provide you with insurance, and there's different options. Personal car insurance is around like 150 if you really have a good record. Uh, so here's an example: the 15 to 85% splits with Turo, and you can choose different like a 10 to 90, 35, 65% kind of thing. And next is resale value. To the public, how I would do it is pretty much I'll take the current miles that you pretty much, let's say you rode it for 100,000 miles. You subtract that from potential miles, which is 205,000 miles, and then you multiply that ratio times the MSRP of the car. So let's say you drove it 100,000 miles. The That means one half of the miles is gone. So you multiply MSRP times one half. So instead of 2005, 200, instead of costing $25,000, it's now probably gonna cost around 15,000. Not 15,000, 12,000. And then you gotta take some depreciation. So you subtract maybe like another $4,000. So now you're like at $8,000 after driving it for 100,000 miles. That's roughly between 8,000 and 12,500. Total insurance cost. Uh, 12 years. You're gonna have the car on Turo because it doesn't let you have it for more than 12 years, because I think that's what I'm assuming. It's saying it can be older than 12 years, so I'm gonna go based on that 12 years. $150 times 12 months a year equals to 21,600 on personal insurance that you will be paying throughout the 12 years. So a lot of people don't know this, but insurance pretty much ends up costing you almost as much or even more than your car payment or the total cost of the car. And also gas. But we're not going to take into consideration gasoline, because gasoline is something that the customer is going to be paying. Maybe you'll pay if you deliver the car, maybe a little bit, but let's just assume that the customer picks it up and the customer pays everything in terms of gasoline. Total other expenses. These total other expenses come from this little chart right here. So I have the Honda Insight diagram right here, and it pretty much shows you price cut up by different things like catalytic converter that you might replace, sensors, tires, fuel pump, tune-up, brake system, turn signals, interest on loan, insurance, battery replacement, oil change, maintenance. Total cost of ownership comes out to $61,873, excluding the gasoline. If it was including gasoline, it would be up to like $75,000 in total. So that's our 61,873 resale value. With a dealer, that's up to the dealer. The dealer could decide what they want to choose, and every dealer might be different. So I'm gonna assume that every time that I rent it out for a trip, that the person's gonna probably put 45 miles. It's gonna range, maybe less, maybe more. 45 miles, I think, is a safe bet. Some people drive way more, maybe 100 miles. The limit that the Turo people usually put is like 150 per day. That's a lot. That's crazy. I hope that if I were to put a car there, that would not happen, because the numbers would be so messed up. The trips that I will have available would be less. So let me explain that. So total potential trips. How many trips? Let's say that I was able to rent it out every single day for 12 years, nonstop. That would amount to 555 trips, 4,555 trips. That's a lot. That's if in a perfect world. So that's not gonna happen, of course. But this is how I got the number. I pretty much calculated. Let's say I got the car brand new right off the lot. I have 205,000 miles to play with. The average miles used per rentee per trip is 45 miles. That's how many trips I have available. That's in a perfect world. So to break even, what I do is I calculate the total cost of owning the car, which is $61,873, and divide that by the amount of trips that I have available. That comes out to $13.60 per trip that will cost me. So pretty much every trip that I use the car to rent it out, it's gonna cost me $13.60. So let's add some cushion for profit. I think I didn't add that right here. Let's delete this right now. So that's an unrealistic approach, okay? To let's ignore that part. So that's unrealistic. Okay, that's great and all. Like if it was perfect day by day, but let's be more realistic and assume some other stuff. So let's go with this: a more realistic approach, more realistic take. How much do you charge to make profit? Assuming, so let's suppose worst case scenario. I don't know if this is worst case scenario, but let's assume that you only rent the car, you have it full time available, but only half the time it is rented out. So in 30 days each month, only 15 days it gets rented out. So meaning you have now, instead of 4,555 trips available, in total you now have 2,278 trips that will be used in 12 years. And then you have, which is the 12 years you have before Turo no longer permits your car, which also means you will have to put in 102,500 miles into the car in those 12 years. So let's look at the break-even price. So to break even, this is what you should charge. So you have 12 years, the car still costs you 61,873, and you divide that by the total trips, which is 2,278 trips for the entire 12 years, which comes out to $27.16 per day. So let's say we charge the car. So there's an example right here. This person has it for $55 a day. I put it for $45 a day, and Turo takes 15% away. So we are left with $38.25 minus the break-even cost. Will leave us with an $11 profit a day, a mere $11 profit a day. I don't think it's pretty worth it. Like, come on. Best case scenario is that the car gets rented out more a month. Worst case, like anything below half a month is bad. Like it's either you charge more for the rental, which means probably people will not rent it as much, or people have a liking for your car and they will rent it out more than 15 days a month. So that's $166.35 of profit an entire month. So that's kind of, I put that's kind of sad. Or to put it into a year wise, $1,996 a year for. So in 12 years, you can make the math. So the total cost of owning the car, it takes into account that the car gets paid off in 5 years. So what I do is I spread the cost of 5 years to 12 years. So it pretty much is the same thing, just different way of doing the math. So it averages it out. A possibility is that car insurance might get cheaper after 5 years. That's true. As the car gets older, it gets cheaper, the insurance, because now the car has depreciated. The insurance is willing to charge you less because it's going to cost less to fix your car once it's older. So another thing to note is that this is not considering the time you take out of your day to accommodate the client by cleaning the car and all other arrangements like a car wash, or installing a tracking device will probably cost you a monthly service fee. That's up to you if you want to include that. Tax wise, you will want to talk to an accountant so you are not overtaxed for the revenue you accumulate, which would be $8,100 a year, but you would only be profiting $1,996 a year. This comes out to a 24.6% margin kind of business. And this is also not considering the gasoline, of course, if you were to be delivering. And I think that's all for this video. So what do you think? Tell me what you think. One part that I might have messed up, let me know. Because right here I have 12 years. No, this is correct. Never mind. 12 years, 61. Yeah, that's correct. So, yeah, tell me what you think about this. Would you rent the car? What kind of car would you rent? What kind of car maybe you thinking of renting? Hit me up on Instagram at Daniel Munoz, and then instead of a L on Daniel, it's a number 1. and DM me. Let me know if you're thinking about this, and I'll probably tell you like, hey, this what some numbers I'm thinking. That's what I got, and I'll give you my opinion. I'll just do that maybe for like the first 50 people free. I mean, I'm not. I'm just doing it. Not even 50 people. That's too much. No, I take it back. Maybe for like 10 people, because that's like too much doing. But like, you run the numbers if you want. But if you need help, 10. I'll do 10 people for, just for fun, and we'll run the numbers. It will be totally my opinion. Don't take my word for it. And that, yeah. So like, go through the video again. Look at how I run the numbers. It makes, I hope, clear sense. I listed all the total costs and stuff like that, and then I use those numbers. I crunch them up, come up with a total, because this is a pretty much a how many trips are available for car. And I could pretty much say, like, let's say you choose a Camaro. What I will do is same thing. For example, I will take the 205. Let's assume the Camaro also gets 205 miles in 12 years. It would also get 16,000 miles a year. And let's say it probably gets rented out more. Let's say, and then also gets 45 miles per day. But let's say instead of 15 days a month, it gets maybe 20 days a month. And now with 20 days a month, that's gonna be better. So with 20 days a month, the reason I say 20 instead of 15 is because the Camaro is, more desirable among the youth. And with that being said, we'll take the total cost of the Camaro. I think I have an example of the Camaro. Let's look at, for example, you could stop watching the video. I recommend you do some calculations with your own car, but I'm just gonna run an example of let's go with I got a used Geo Metro, which I used to have, a Tesla Model 3, we got a Dodge Charger, we got Toyota Corolla. Let's go with the Dodge Charger Hellcat. So this Dodge Charger Hellcat, we can subtract the total gasoline expenditure because the customer will use that. We could change the miles to 205. I had 300 first, but I don't think the car is going to reach that. Car price 65,000. Total converter, tires, tune-up, brake system, turn signals, interest on loan. Insurance 21,600. Battery replacement, oil changes, maintenance. Let's say the total cost is $118,000. So pretty much $1,800. $1,018,000. And then total trips. So we did instead of 15, we did 20. So now instead of 50% rental time throughout the month, it's now 75%. So 75% 0.75. So you get that. And for a Dodge Challenger Hellcat, our new numbers are, so let's do the math. Let's input into the calculator. And then we'll divide by, so actually, let's see, 4,555 times 0.75. So that's the total trips, 3416. 118,000 divided by 3416. That's how much you should be charging to break even. $34 for a Hellcat. So with that, with $34 being charged for a Hellcat, let's look at how much a Hellcat charges on Turo. Let's filter. Let's look at Dodge. We're gonna go for Dodge, and then we're gonna go for a Hellcat. Charger. I don't think they have Hellcat right here. And Viper. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Charger. Sorry. What happened? Dodge. charger. View results. So any Hellcats here? Any Hellcats? Doesn't look like that. Okay, I think this is a Hellcat right here. Here's a Hellcat. Hellcat's way more expensive than the normal chargers. Probably twice the price. But yeah, this is a Hellcat. This person is charging $120. 10 trips with this car. In total, this person has been getting 35.97 trips. He has multiple cars, so let me show you right now. He's a person that has many vehicles. I think I counted last time he had like 49 vehicles. Look, they keep loading and loading and loading. This person has a ton of cars. Like, this guy made a business out of this, and he's charging $125 for the car. When he's charging $125 for the car, Turo is getting, let's say he's doing the 85/15 thing, so 0.85, that equals, so 125 times, what the heck, I don't want calendar, 0.85 equals 106, and then 106 minus this $34 to break even. Don't know math, apparently. 106 72. So you're profiting $72 when you put out this car. That's a price you will be getting. So 72, how much will you be making a month? We said 20 days will be rented out. So 72, so rented 20 days a month equals, so 20 times 72 equals $1,440. Is that right? No way. 20 times 72. Wow, this guy's making bank, man. If this guy rents out the car for $125 a day, for 20 days, he's making bank profit of $1,440 for a car, pretty much just renting it out. That's a good amount. Times 12, $17,000 a year for one car. I do say it's pricey. I think he knows, it's a car that, not a lot of people could afford. Not a lot of people put it out there for renting, so he puts a premium on that. Yeah, this is a legit Hellcat right here. These are the other cars that charge 44, 32, 45. The other cars have 39 trips, 8 trips, 8 trips, 10 trips, 12 trips, 61 trips, 8 trips, 2 trips, 41 trips, 1 trip. Yeah, so, and also I think with these cars, you have to be, I believe, like 25 years or older. Sometimes I think they put like 30 years or older, which affects the rental rate. So not the price, but like how often you got repeat customers, or even customers at all. The customer base for these kind of cars are young, youthful kids, not adults. Adults don't want to drive. Adults have a life, and they got chores to do. Kids want to just drive fast and do crazy stuff, which is good. It's a safe feature. Like, hey, only people who are 25 and responsible can drive this car, or 30 and older could drive these cars, which are very strong. They're like 600 horsepower. Okay, so that's that with that video. I hope this video helps you understand how to calculate your numbers, how to go about like estimating how much you should charge, how much you could probably be making, how much it's actually costing you. If you want more details on how I come up with the extra expenses, which is right here, it says $13 and $3 13 13,320 comes from, like, for example, the Insight. I common things like energy, catalytic converter, things that get changed out throughout the car's lifetime. Oil changes, of course. What I do is I use the total miles. So let's look at for example, oil change for a Hellcat. Oil change for a Hellcat. Here we go. Oil change for Hellcat. Press enter, and you can see right here. Um, so the total miles, which what I should have done is delete this, insert miles used divided by 5,000. 5,000 equals, after 5,000 miles, I will change my oil. And then the 60 is how much people will charge you to change your oil. So the total miles divided by 5,000 miles gives you how many times you will change the oil throughout the entire life of the car, and then multiply that how much you will be paying per oil change, $60, and that gives you a grand total of $2,460 in just oil changes throughout the car's lifetime. Not bad. Maybe it's more because a Charger is, requires more oil, bigger engine, maybe more frequent oil changes because it does. It's a big engine and gets hot, so it may require frequent oil changes. So that's that. I hope this video enlightens you and lets you understand that the more you charge, the better, and hopefully you understand that you have to aim for a certain amount of monthly rentals per month. So if you're getting too few, you're probably not gonna make your payments. And let's say the worst case scenario, I think the worst case scenario is where you're not renting it a lot per month, meaning you're only getting like 5 rentees a month, and those 5 rentees are putting a ton of miles, maxing out on the miles that you allow in the car. Let's say each rentee is putting 150 miles a day. That's probably the worst, because one, it's deteriorating your car, meaning the average miles used per rentee, the more it goes up, the less trips you have available to the market. So the less trips you have available to the market is the quicker your car's gonna die. The more you have to charge. The more you have to charge is the less likely that people are going to rent your car. So it kind of all balances out. People probably did the numbers that have posted it right there, but these are the numbers that I would run to make sure that I'm getting kind of a buffer and have understanding of what I'm getting myself into. So hey, I might do it. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I may play around with some more numbers, different cars. There's so many cars I could look at, and I just want to make sure that I have the best option for people, and that it benefits me and it benefits the consumer. With that, subscribe, like the video, and turn on those notifications. Share this video to somebody who's thinking about Turo, who has gotten involved in Turo. Like the video, because when you like the video, more people are able to see it and be aware of what's going on. In reality, Turo is a platform where I don't know if they put their own cars on the platform to rent it out, but it's possible. They could just be, a very smart business model where, hey, we're not putting and deterring our cars on the app. We're letting you all put your cars. If it deteriorates, it deteriorates. But we're, at the end of the day, they're collecting a fee each day. They're collecting anywhere 35 to 10% of your cut. They do not fail. They're just a platform. They're just a middleman that puts you and the consumer connected, and they collect a fee every day no matter what. So that's that. And I'll see you all on the next video. Bye-bye.